Hey book besties, welcome back to another vlog. Today I am going to start reading the Boys of Tommen series, which is such a popular series here on BookTube and Book Talk. So I'm intrigued to see if I'm gonna like it. I am nervous because I feel like some of these series that are so popular, people claim they really like them. Well, they do really like them, they don't claim that, but they really like them and they're really hyped up. And then I read them and I'm a little bit disappointed because they're so hyped up. So I'm interested to see how I feel about this series. There's 5 books out right now, so I'm just gonna get started on the first book. And I'll keep you updated with how I like it. I'll probably get over halfway done with it today. Maybe I'll finish it today. It is just over 600 pages, so I don't know if I will, but I'll keep you updated. I will let you know. Okay, I am about halfway done with the first book, Binding 13, and it's getting good. I feel like I'm enjoying, it's just a straight romance book about kids in, I think it's high school age kids. Well, they are high school age kids. He's 18 and she's 16. But they're in Ireland, I think, and so they do school different. So it's confusing to me. But so I am just over. My hair is such a mess in this. I'm so sorry. Not that you care. You literally don't care. But I am halfway through with the first book, and I would say right now I'd probably rate it a 4 to 4.5 stars if I just had to go straight off of right now. I'm not getting the 5-star feeling yet, but we'll see. I'm intrigued to see if I will. Yeah, I started explaining what it was, but I didn't finish. So it's basically these 2 kids who are in high school in Ireland, which Ireland isn't a big part of it, but the FMC has abusive parents, and she comes just from she's had a rough childhood, and she also just hasn't had good friends, and so she transfers to this school. And then there's this senior. I think she's a sophomore, maybe a freshman, but I'm pretty sure she's a sophomore age girl. Well, yeah, because she's 16. Yeah, I was 16 my junior year, but I was young for my grade, so I think she'd be a sophomore. And he's a senior, and he is captain of the sports team. Is it rugby? I don't know what sport it is actually. I can't remember. But anyway, he's captain of the sports team, and they meet, and they kind of low-key fall for each other fast, but also it's a slow burn, I think, to get to where they're actually official and dating. And it's over halfway in the book now, and she still hasn't told him that her parents are super abusive, and her dad she's bruised up all over, and she hasn't told him why she's bruised up all over, and so he thinks that kids at school are mean to her. But it's actually not that. So I'm interested to see how the rest of the book goes. Like I said, I'm just over halfway, so I'm definitely going to be able to finish this tonight, and I will probably update you when I'm home. Okay, I just finished Binding 13. I get the hype. I just would like to say it's a 5-star read. Normally I save my answers for the end, but I just I can't do that with this one. And I don't want to fool. Sorry, my phone keeps freaking lagging and it's pissing me off. Sorry. But it's a 5-star read for me. Yeah, I think the slowest of slow burns. If you watch this channel for a while, you'll know I'm a slow burn lover. So perfect for me. I I also, yeah, I feel like it was like a great view of Shannon, who experienced like abuse in her home from her father. And I think like sometimes like you don't read about that very often in books, and especially like it done to a point where like it feels real. Like I've never been abused like that. And if you have, like, please reach out for help. I am here, or like anybody is here, and like it can be okay. But like it was just like an interesting perspective. I would say like don't read that book if you have like if you're struggling with that right now, or have in the past and still like need to cope with it. But I would say it was a great book. Also, my nails are looking really cute right now. I did them myself. Slay Daisy. But I did like the book. Sorry, that was not a good time for me to say that. I got distracted. ADHD. But good book. I enjoyed it. 5 stars. I think I wasn't sure until like 80%. I knew it was gonna be above a 4 stars, and then at like 80%, it just like something switched, and it was like so good. I was like, this is good. Like I'm devouring this. I'm eating this up. I read the last like 20% within like 30 minutes, less than an hour for sure. Which, if you've read the book, that's so speedy. So it was great. I would recommend reading it. And I'm just gonna move on to Keeping 13. So let's get started reading that. Okay, ignore my messy hair. I just wanted to give you an update on Keeping 13. I am about halfway through, so it's just like a halfway through update. I'm enjoying it. I don't think I'm quite enjoying it as much as the first one. I feel like the beginning half of it is better though than the first one. I just think the pacing is a little bit weird, but I still think like I still am loving it. So we're gonna see how it goes today. I'm gonna finish it today and keep you updated. Okay, I just sat and binged all of Saving Six. It's less than 500 pages, so it's the shortest book in the Boys of Tommen. Maybe Taming 7 is shorter. I haven't read Taming 7. But it's the shortest one so far. And I gave it a 4 stars. I felt like, compared to the first two, I didn't like it as much. There were too many sex scenes for me, especially for like a YA book. Like I'm fine reading, I read books that are higher than YA, but it's like you can't read it YA just because they're kids going to school if you're gonna have them like really defined sex scenes, you know? I did like it from Joey's perspective. I really appreciated being able to see how Joey handles stuff, because if you've read the first book, Joey is the FMC in the first 2 books brother. And so it's like the first 2 books are about 2 people, and then the next 2 books are about 2 different people. And so it was like a new interesting perspective, and I appreciated that. I thought it was good. I thought that there's just too much miscommunication also. I don't know, like it's like, okay, like maybe it was more realistic because of that, and because of the scenes, because he is like a struggling addict, and she is not, and she wants him to get better. I just couldn't get behind all the miscommunication in this book, but it was still a 4 stars. Like I still enjoyed the book, but I just think like it could have been a lot better. especially compared to book 1 in the Boys of Tommen series. So I'm interested to see how Redeeming 6 goes. Somebody tell me if you like it more, if you like it less, because I'm not there yet. I also thought that it was like such a good slow burn. Like it took years for them to like actually like admit they had feelings and to like start liking each other and stuff like that. So if that's what you want, this is your book, but read the other two first. Okay, I got to about 60% of Redeeming 6 on my iPad on the Kindle app. It's not my favorite book. I'm thinking 3-star range for sure, and I'm probably gonna stick with that for the rest of the book. I just think like, so the Binding and Keeping 13 are about Shannon and Johnny, and then Saving and Redeeming 6 are about, I don't know how to say her name, but Joey and his girlfriend. And I feel like there's only like a couple there's like one major thing that we learn about Joey's girlfriend that we didn't know previously, and obviously like you don't get to learn too much about Joey in Binding and Keeping 13, but I feel like we could have done without this being an 800-page book, because so much of this information has already been shared in the first book. It's just like a different perspective, but it feels like it's still being written by Shannon, if that makes sense. Like normally you kind of envelop the character when you're writing and write it to make it sound like they're writing it, but they sound like they have the same voice, and so it's nothing new, I feel like. Yeah, it's not my favorite book. I could have gone without reading. I also think I'm gonna stop after this book because Taming 7 is not on Kindle Unlimited like the other ones are, and I don't want to buy it paperback, which if I were to buy it, I would buy it paperback because I hate buying books for my Kindle. It's like, okay, if I'm gonna spend the money to buy the book, I'm gonna have it in person, but I don't want to have to buy the whole series. So I'm gonna wait and see if it goes on Kindle Unlimited at some point. Also, I feel like, I don't know, I'm just worried for how it's gonna be, because I can't handle the same story a third time. So if you've read the book, let me know if it's gonna be a different story or the same one. Yeah, but I'm gonna stop after Redeeming 6, and it's not my favorite. But Binding and Keeping 13 were great. Just Saving 6 was better than this even, but Redeeming 6 hasn't been good at all. That's my opinion. I would still read it. That's why it's definitely 3 stars or higher. Anyways, I'm 60% through, so I'm just gonna grind through the rest tonight. It should take me like 3 hours. It's 9 o'clock right now, so I'll keep you updated. Okay, I just finished reading Binding 13, Keeping 13, Saving 6, and Redeeming 6. So the first 4 books of the Boys of Tommen series, I'm not gonna read Taming 7 in this video, just because I think I already said it before, but it's not on Kindle Unlimited right now. I don't want to buy it and only have one of the Boys of Tommen series books, and so I'm just like, I'm not going to read it right now. Also, I just need a break from this series because I'm scared it's gonna be similar to Saving and Redeeming 6, where I just like wasn't the biggest fan of it, if that makes sense, because it was so repetitive of Binding and Keeping 13, because I love those books. So I just wanted to give a brief overview of how I felt about the first 4 books of the Boys and Tommen series that are out right now, so you can know whether you should read them or not. So Binding 13 was a 5-star. Up until about the 80% mark, I would have said it would be like a 4.5 stars. Like, nothing was wrong with it. I think about 80% I was like, okay, this is good. Like, we're enjoying this. Like, let's keep it going. Yeah, I just really love Johnny and Shannon's relationship. I also think that the like domestic violence was handled well in this book. Not that I have had to deal with it, so like I have no say in like if it's actually realistic or not, but I felt like it was a good book. I would say like that's something going into it like a lot of people don't mention, but if you have like experience with abuse in the past, I would steer, and you're like not fully recovered from it as of right now, I would steer clear of this book. But I rated it 5 stars. I get the hype for that book 100%. And then the next book was Keeping 13, and I rated it 4.5 stars. I thought it was a great book. I almost liked it just as much as Keeping 13. I just felt like the pacing was a little bit strange in my opinion. And then I read through like Goodreads reviews, and I think like a lot of people thought that. Not like everyone, but like there were other people who thought the same, so that was like really refreshing to see. Yeah, and it's just, some of it was a little bit too repetitive, but that's that. I ate it up though. So that's what we have to say about that. And then next was Saving 6. I rated this one 4 stars. I loved it. I felt like it wasn't as good as it could have been. There were too many miscommunications for me, and too many like spicy scenes, I would say. Those are my 2 biggest like piffs about it, I would say. It was like a really good slow burn. Like, if you've read the book, it has like dates, and I think it took like years for them to act, well, not I think, I know, like it took years for them to actually like start dating and stuff, and so just like the slow burn of it all was really good. And then there was also Redeeming 6, and my biggest like the thing I didn't like about both of these books together, so I'm just gonna combine it, and Redeeming 6 also was a 3.25 stars. I'm gonna say that. Yeah, Redeeming 6, it was okay. I liked it, and that's why I rated it above a 3 stars. But I wouldn't scream like from the rooftops to go and read it. But if you were reading the series, I'd be like, yeah, like read Redeeming 6, but I would never say like read Boys of Tommen for Redeeming 6. And maybe I'm missing something from the book. I just, with both Saving 6 and Redeeming 6, my biggest critique of them both would be, I would love to see a little bit of like a difference from Binding and Keeping 13 and Saving and Redeeming 6. There was one like major plot point that happened to Joey's girlfriend that, like, if you've read the books, you'll understand like that was different, but it almost felt like everything else was the same, and we could have gone without that. Like, it was an 800-page book just for the same information again and again, and it wasn't my favorite. Yeah, so that's my opinion. I'm sure not everybody shares it, but that's okay. And I finished the Boys of Tommen series pretty much. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you like, comment, and subscribe, and go watch some of my other videos.